You're fucking
American English because they said I was speaking English with some kind of weird accent. And I also was using words that were not American English. I was unaware. I have there's six of us. I have five siblings, one younger. I'm number five of six. So when I spoke this broken English with various languages mixed in, Spanglish and Tagalogish, and they knew what I was talking about. You know, akin pamilya, my family, they knew what I was saying.
Right.
Mi madre, tatay, nanay, they all knew what I was talking about. But then I go to school and they're like, what? But none of it mattered to me. I was offended at the age of 4 that they were going to put me in an English class when I spoke perfect English. But do you know what I realized in that class? I realized, man, I get to get out of boring class with a teacher I hate and hang out with a bunch of international people who are all mixed up like me.
Yeah.
And none of them looked like me. But we were, no, there were, I'm looking back, I didn't know what black and white was until I was deposited into Mississippi in outer space in my mind. When
Yeah.
I was in Italy, I know now I was the only black student in that class. And then there was another person of color who was some other, and I never knew what it was. I knew he was darker than white, he was lighter than me, and his hair was bone straight. So whatever he was, it wasn't what me and my siblings were, and it wasn't what my dad was. And he looked similar to my mother, but he wasn't that either. But I didn't have to try to fit in. No one cared. But you have to realize that this was an Air Force installation.
Yeah.
I was protected from the outside world and I was afforded an opportunity to explore. I mean, who at 4 is growing up in Italy that is an American black kid from Mississippi? Who?
Very true.
Who is
Very
traveling internationally, speaking 4 and 5 languages from birth? Many people, but it's a unique experience. It is not the only experience of that nature, but it is very unique. That being the case, I mean, I grew up eating great food. I mean, if my mom wasn't making Filipino food, the neighbors were making Italian food. I'm eating pasta from scratch, pizza from the best pizza places in the world. Before we left Italy, they the Air Force put us up in a renovated castle. I
oh
mean, I'm living a dream. I am living in a hotel that used to be a castle, and we would pool our allowances and order pizza from Mario's Pizza next door every day. It was a $5 large pizza. It was the 80s. You could get a large pizza delivered for $5. We would pool our allowances and get our large pepperoni pizza almost every day. And our parents didn't care what we ate, as long as we ate. They
right.
didn't care how late we stayed up, as long as we got up for school. We had free reign all day. We had water wars, played tag, and anything I wanted to do or try, I could because nobody, we were free range children
Yeah.
in a whole nother country. And I developed such a sense of confidence and I know what I'm doing. And if I don't, I'll figure it out. I mean, if we started to bleed, my brother was older. So I grew up sandwiched between two boys, an older brother and a younger brother. And unless it was broken or we couldn't, and even if it was a little thing broken, my brother was like, oh, I know how to splint a finger. Here, let me do this. So if it was bleeding profusely, we had to recruit our parents. But if it was just bleeding, we'd be like, come on, let's go. Pour some peroxide over it, put some pressure on it, slap a band-aid, go back outside and play. If there's blood on your dress, go put on another dress, throw it in the hamper, go outside. And I say all that to say it instilled a level of confidence and self-assurance and adventurousness, this wanderlust in me that I carried throughout life, on into adult. Nothing was impossible. I could do anything I wanted. And
Yeah.
I didn't think I was pretty. You want to know why? Never cared. Never occurred to me to care if you thought I was pretty. Didn't care. Boys would chase me on the playground. I didn't understand why. They were touching me in my places, and I was confused. I didn't know why, and it didn't matter. I did not care if you liked me, if you loved me, hated me, you thought I was beautiful, you thought I was ugly. I was a tomboy to the max. I wore my brother's basketball shorts, t-shirts. I played basketball, video games, loved music. And other than basketball, video games, and fishing, and running around playing tag and, you know, Mother May I, green light, red light, what was there to life? Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
So the problem that came into play was one day I met a boy and suddenly I cared. I cared if he liked my hair. I cared if he found me attractive in my outfits. I was no longer in this place where no one existed. He existed.
So your confidence
And
maybe took a little bit of a hit.
well, it took a small hit in that he would say things to me about who I am innately that hurt me, and he didn't even realize it. One day I covered my mouth because he was talking to me, and rather than waiting for me to finish chewing, he was insistent that I answer his question. So I covered my mouth while I was answering him. So as I'm trying to be polite, I was raised with etiquette and manners.
Right.
He was raised in the hood, literal hood, MLK Boulevard, Mississippi, the projects, the ghetto, literally. Government subsidized shotgun housing, dead, broke, poor food stamps. I didn't live this life. I didn't know it existed. We lived in government housing as well, military
Yeah.
bases, totally different. Beautiful subdivisions, grass that had to be mowed, plants that are beautiful, and other people who, like you, are productive people. It's a military installation. They have gates with people with, M16s manning them. No one's going to come and bother your kids. We are not worried about people coming and kidnapping you. Who's going to kidnap you? The first sergeant next door, the captain's kids from the other neighborhood next door is going to come and kidnap. No one's going to kidnap you. It's a base. It's safe. I even from elementary school, we'd walk around the base. We'd walk past around. We'd walk for miles around the base and come home. And no one cared. It's a guarded perimeter. I was not in the comfort and the safety of the military anymore. I was navigating life for the very first time at 18 with a boyfriend. And I covered my mouth and he said to me, "Oh my God, you are so sedity." Sedity? Have you heard the term sedity?
What? No.
It is very common in the Southern Black community for Black women to be called sedity if they just think they're somebody, if they're very
Oh no.
uppity.
So
They're
like
stuck up.
bougie.
They're Yes,
Okay.
their nose is in the air. They think they're somebody. They're putting on airs. But
Got
I
it.
wasn't putting on an air. I was being myself.
You were being polite, covering your
I
mouth when you
was.
spoke.
And then one night, because I did, and I'll say this and I'll keep it PG, but that was my daughter's father. He was the person that I first gave myself to. And we spent the night together on our college campus at a hotel. And we woke up that morning and I thought it would be nice to order breakfast. I ordered room service. And he said, "Wow, you sound so white on the phone."
So did
My
you know?
confidence plummeted.
Yeah. Did you notice that immediately, or was that something that other people noticed?
No, it wasn't. Which part? That he was tearing me down slowly,
That
little by little?
yeah, that he was tearing you down.
No one noticed because I was raised in an Asian household. Well, you don't tell people what's going on with you. You don't. You don't have problems in your relationships. You don't have mental health problems. You don't have psychological problems. Nothing bad is going on at home. If you were hungry, no, you're not. If you were out of clothes and you have to wear something else because the washer broke down or we didn't go to the laundromat, no, you don't. You solve your problems within your relationships, within your household, and they don't go elsewhere. You don't get therapy. That's for crazy people. You don't take medication. You are not depressed. That is for crazy people, and you are not them. You
Mhm.
suck it up and you act like everything is okay, and everything is okay. And because I was raised in a Filipino culture, there was also the fact that I am raised as a girl. I was raised with my brothers, but I didn't get treated the same. I had to be submissive, even in my own home, to my brothers.
Mhm.
If there was cooking to be done, I was doing it. If there was laundry to be done, I was doing it. If there was food to be presented to the boys and my mother didn't, I was doing it because I am a girl. And I was so confused as to who am I, because all I wanted to do was play basketball, play video games, play and compose music because I joined the band and I learned to play various and sundry instruments. And somehow, once I reached about 12, and I know what it was because in her culture, once a girl has her menses, she's no longer a girl. Immediately, when I had that at 12, my mother treated me entirely differently. I was no longer playing with my brothers all the time.
Yeah.
Even when I was, she would call me in. I'm like, this is what I love that gives me energy. And in addition to that, at about 14, the boys started fouling me intentionally
Yeah.
because I started to develop. And I lost confidence there too, because again, the confusion, because I was very slow developing, wants and desires towards the opposite sex. I was like, why do they keep fouling me?
Yeah.
It's almost like they're doing it on purpose. So my older brother, he said, Garthia, sit down, sit down. I'm sorry, I said my real name. I doxed myself. Vixen, he's a Vixen, sit down, sit down. And he got into a little bit of a kerfuffle, not physically, but you could tell he was aggressively saying something to those boys. And my brother is never says anything
Uh-oh.
and never again did any of those boys the whole time my brother was in school. He's 3 years older than me. I was a freshman when he was a senior. They never spoke to me again. And I never knew. I found out years later that he told them, you touch my sister, you talk to my sister, you try to date her, I'm going to kill you. And they believed him because he's kind of nuts. And but even that instilled a sense of, what's wrong with me and me, because my senior year, no one asked me to the prom.
Yeah.
I learned later that they said it was because they were intimidated by me because I seemed like my mind were on things completely outside of high school.
Right.
Like I was so uninterested in them, high school boys, and then also things of high school that they didn't want to approach me for fear of just being shot down. I didn't see it that way. I thought, well, dang, boys don't like me. Nobody asked me to the prom. I must be a real loser. And then to date my first boyfriend at 18, and then years go by, and he's slowly plucking away at my self confidence. He's tearing down literal things about me. I can't change. I can't change the way I sound.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change that I'm a polite eater and I'm not going to talk in your face and spit food all over you while I'm eating. I'm not going to
Right.
do that. The things that made me me, that I felt good about, he was tearing them all down. Everything. And then the ultimate self esteem destroyer at 20, when I had his daughter, after years together, he said this to me. And it's fine. It really is. If you did this, this is cool. I'm not judging anyone. This is just my own culture and my own upbringing. My mother is a Catholic Filipino lady, and my father is an old GI from Mississippi. And we had a baby together. My mom told me when I cried on her lap, I got on my knees and laid my head in my mother's lap and cried. I said, Mom, I am pregnant. And she said, well, and I'll say, it's your boyfriend's, right? I said, yeah. She said, it's okay, baby Gartwell, baby Vixen. She calls me baby, my name. She said, he's going to marry you. And she said, and you're an adult, you're 20. It's not like you're a teenager. You live on your own, you pay your own bills. And then you know what he said to me? He asked me a question. It was not, will you marry me?
Oh, no.
He said, will you move in with me?
Oh, okay.
And but as a person raised in a household where that is a no-no, no one in my family has ever done that before,
Okay.
ever. It was devastating. And I told him, I can't. And I had to end that relationship. But I also had to deal with the fact that I'm worthy for you to use my body to carry your child, but I'm not worth a marriage. I mean, honestly, even if he had said, hey, let's get married, I don't have the money right now. Even if we were engaged, I probably would have moved in with him.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. I was devastated. And I didn't. I was celibate for 2.5, almost 3 years until I met my husband. And by then, I was trained and created, I was built to be a victim. I was taught to be submissive. My self esteem was torn down. I was taught to cater to men. And I met a man at church who was my preacher's son. And I joined a congregation where they don't allow women to speak in church, to teach over men, to pray with men. And I became his perfect victim. He love bombed me
Yeah.
and begged me to marry him. And for 4.5 years, he abused me.
Wow.
In every way you can abuse a person. And again, everything I did that made me me was wrong. Everything. My hair was short. I should grow it out. And I did. I grew my hair all the way down past my breast, middle of my back. He didn't like color. I dyed it. I stopped coloring my hair. I had honey blonde. He didn't like makeup. I stopped wearing it. He wanted me to cover up like I was a nun. I wore long dresses. I covered my body.
Yeah.
And then anything I did to create a signature, like I like men's ties and men's shirts, but I'll wear them with a women's blazer and high heels. But that was too masculine for him. He made me stop doing that. Everything, anytime I showed any flourish of who I was, he would insult me. And then as I got promotions at work, he would say, oh, you think you're somebody now? You're trying to come home and run this house like you run your job. You're in charge there. You think you're the boss here. And I've never acted that way.
Yeah.
Even when I made twice as much money, I never did. And I say all that to say that was the ultimate self-esteem killer. This is my husband. This is who I have given my life to. I have given my body to. I've had 2 sons for, and every opportunity he has to say anything positive, he only tears me down. Even when other people compliment me, we would go home and he would make it a point to address it and tear even that down. No one else could even compliment me without him tearing it down. That, and I filed for divorce in 2012. And I tell you what, Token, it has taken me 14.5 years to rebuild what he tore down in 4.5.
Wow.
I'm not the same person.
If you are just now joining us, we are talking about what it really takes to build confidence. And right now we're talking about the teardown of our confidence. And we are going to actually have you jump on down, and I'm going to have Kat's jump on up. We're going to talk about the build up, and then towards the end, I will have you jump back in.
That sounds good. So, and then, so as far as my show and everything else, I'll do that later.
Yeah, when both of you are in the box.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, thank you. Thank you all for listening to my story. There is a happy ending and it's not over yet. So we are still on the rise, rebuilding. We'll get to that. Thank you so much for having me. I'll see you in a bit.
Yes. That's for if you would hop in the box if you're in the room. Maybe, yeah. It won't work. Oh, need to leave and come back. Okay. There we go. So, hello. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So, we are going to be talking now more about once we've realized that our confidence has been torn down, what do you do? Um, where did you actually start once you realized that your confidence had not been where you wanted it to be?
Sure. So when I was looking at the questions for today, I said, I think my life has been a journey of confidence for sure. I don't think confidence is something that you're born with. I think it's something that you have to build and learn and experience things in life in order to, of course, get to where you are. So I decided to focus on a specific incident, if you will, or specific part of my life, and that's my career. Um, So wait, repeat your question again, just so I can.
So, when you realized that you wanted to build your confidence, where did you start? Where was the first thing that you did?
Sure. So I'm choosing to focus on an incident where I had worked for, and I'll keep this brief. I'd worked for a company from, let's say, started when I was maybe 19 or 20 in a very entry level position. And then over the course of several years, went to college, earned multiple college degrees, and kind of worked my way up into the company. And it was somewhere that I felt very safe. I felt very accomplished. So any confidence issues maybe that I had in my personal life, whether that was because I was a little chubby or I was this or I was that, never really went into my work bubble. I always felt very confident because I'm successful. I'm all these things. And um there was an incident where I had interviewed for a job, the highest level job that I would have had in that company, and I knew that I was very qualified. I knew that I had checked all the boxes. I was very confident, and rightfully so, and I was overlooked for the position. And it was like, my professional world was kicked out from under me because it just didn't make sense. I spoke to the CEO, who was a female, and she was new in that position, but not new to the company. And I said, "Look, I said I'd really like your feedback,
Yeah.
because in all honesty, I'm having a hard time understanding why I didn't get the job."
Right.
Um, at that moment, she chose to talk to me about my appearance and said, and I'm not kidding, said to me, "I know that you're working to, lose some weight, um and this was the conversation, I was probably in my mid 30s maybe, or early 30s at the time. And this is another woman who is telling me about losing weight and my appearance, and essentially not saying that's why I didn't get the job, but if I asked you why I didn't get the job and this is what you're telling me,
Yeah.
then this is obviously why I didn't get the job." So what is interesting is that in that moment, I was holding my tears in because I didn't know what to do. Got out of that room as quickly as I could, found like my work bestie, went into a closet and cried.
Yeah.
Long story short, what I've learned is that sometimes you have to take those blows, if you will, and make that the fire and the fuel for, it's kind of like how Kathy got her groove back after that. And ultimately made the decision to pursue a major career change, that was a huge risk, but uh I'll just say, leaving there, I took a job that paid me almost $50,000 more than what I was making, and I have proven to be more successful in my career than I ever was. But ultimately, what I learned from that And I think I take this with me in all of my kind of, even my personal blows that I get to my confidence, is that, okay, I'm going to make that the fuel to prove them wrong, and to ultimately, hopefully, succeed.
Very, very true. If you're just tuning in, this is What It Really Takes. We do this every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to be on the show, please contact me or Emoji J here or on Instagram. When you were building your confidence, how did you handle I wrote, that voice, but it's going to be, your ex-boss's voice in
Yes.
your head. How did you handle that in your new career?
I think I realized that the only person who can drive my success ultimately is myself. And I think that is, I also had to realize that that is one person. And one person who, for lack of a better term, is just not a good person.
Yeah.
And so I didn't necessarily let that drive myself. I didn't let it be something that was always on my shoulder forever. It was on my shoulder for a while, not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Because it really was extremely detrimental, at the time. But I think ultimately it just makes me believe that I am the person who is in control of my destiny. And there's always going to be, not to sound stupid, haters or people who don't want to see you succeed. But that's just background noise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What habits or routines helped you reinforce your confidence over time?
Um, my mom, no. Habits or routines. Um, I think again, it's that voice inside of your own head. And, I can't rely on other people to make me confident. I can't rely on other people to make me not confident. I have to find that within myself. And I joke and I say my mom, but both my parents have passed. My mom was always someone, her and I both worked in similar fields for a good part of our lives. In fact, she worked for me for a period of time. So when she passed away, that was also, a huge kick to my confidence, because I felt like, man, my number one cheerleader,
Yeah.
is gone. So I would say that was also a period in which I had to almost figure it out again, if you will. But I think ultimately you have to listen. You have to be your own best cheerleader.
Yes, absolutely. What surprised you the most about becoming confident?
I think just that I am sometimes. I know that sounds funny.
Right?
Um,
Yeah.
because even like from a professional standpoint, I mean, I remember the first time I went to like some event and I was sitting at a table of people I didn't know. And it was like one of those big round tables at like a luncheon. And I said, oh my God, I don't know these people. I don't really want to talk to them. I hope they don't talk to me. I'm gonna have to shake their hands. But now, I'm that one. I'm like, hi, and I do the whole spiel. And I think, I think sometimes you have to give yourself grace and realize that it does take time and experience. But you have to put yourself out there,
Absolutely.
to get to that point.
Absolutely. If you are just tuning in, this is What It Really Takes. I'm Token Jewitch. We do this every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If someone watching feels completely stuck and believes that confidence is something that they'll never have, what would you say to them?
Um, I would say you're lying to yourself. I do think, like I said, confidence does have to come from within, but I also think there's nothing wrong with finding a mentor, finding a friend, that if there's goals that you have in life, whether they're personal, professional, or otherwise, that there are people who are successful who are just like you know what I mean, you, me, and everybody else. And I think sometimes if you can't do it on your own, find someone to inspire you, or find someone to mentor you. Sometimes confidence has to be learned. It's not just something that happens.
Yeah, especially after you lose it for a time, it if you've been confident the whole time and then you lose it, you don't know how to rebuild it because you never had to.
Yes. And in that work situation, that's exactly how it was. You know, that world crashed down. I'd always felt confident at work because I was highly capable, I was successful. And when the top guru says, like, basically, like, hey, you're fat and that's why you get the job. I mean, you know, for lack of a better term, I didn't know what to do with myself. I really didn't know what to do with myself. And you know, it's funny now. She's kind of chubby herself now, so I just giggle. You know what I mean? Not to be petty, but I just giggle because you know what? I also believe in karma, and that's also taken me a long way. That I'm not a vengeful person. I'm not someone who seeks to bad on people, but I also feel like you get what you give. And so if that's what you give someone, and that's what she did to me in that moment, I said to myself, you know what, down the road, I hope someone makes you feel that way a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and have Vixen hop on up in the box with us. I think that is, yep, her. If it'll let me add her, there we go. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
What would you guys say is the biggest misconception that people have about confidence? Kat?
um, I would say that confidence doesn't necessarily mean arrogance. And I think sometimes people might confuse those two things. Um, and I also think that arrogance is a fake confidence. So, you know, I think that sometimes that's a misconception. But I think also just to what we were just talking about, people who think that they can never be confident or they haven't felt confident, that it's certainly not impossible. So I think that is something that is a misconception.
What about you, Vixen? What do you
I
think?
would say people think confidence is an impenetrable force field. They think because you have an air of confidence, you are on a high horse, then they have to knock you down. And we usually are, in fact, not on a high horse, and we are fragile, delicate people. And some of us are just faking it. We don't even have confidence. We just learn to stand up straight, slap the lipstick on this pig, put on some mascara, and face the day with a smile because that is what women do.
Yeah,
True.
We hide our puffy eyes, put some eye drops in to get rid of the redness, slap on some mascara, and face the day.
absolutely.
We face the day. And the other thing I would say is that you have to have a reason to be confident. I am here to tell everyone here, you are enough.
Very true. Very true. What is something that you thought confidence
Be
would give you?
be confident because you exist.
Yes.
You are not.
What is something that you thought confidence would give you, but it didn't? Vixen?
Something I thought confidence would give me um, is friendships that are real and romantic relationships that last. And confidence can give you neither of those things.
Yeah,
We are all navigating life trying the spirit by the spirit. And sometimes that means letting go of friends we thought were our friends.
absolutely.
Sometimes that means, I apologize, someone keeps calling me.
That's okay.
I apologize, someone doesn't understand when you ignore them 3 times, they shouldn't call a 4th time. But sometimes that also means letting go of toxic relationships.
Yes,
For me, because of my upbringing and the abuse I endured through childhood, I gravitate toward people who treat me like the abuse I know. I see a therapist every week, a psychiatrist every 3 to 6 months, and I'm on no medication. My medication is the Holy Spirit and talk and a professional who gives me the tools and resources to build a better kit for moving forward, who empowers me to recognize when I'm repeating my own bad pattern, because it's not the abuser choosing me. I'm a woman. You're women. You get to pick 100% of the time. You decide what man or woman, you decide your partner that you let in. Men got to work hard for it too. We ain't got to do nothing. We exist, and some man or woman or whatever you're into is going to approach you as a woman. It's easy for us to find romantic interests. It is hard to find positive ones that pour back into your cup when it's empty. It's easy to find takers, and I'm a giver. So I draw in takers. They see that in me and they want to take and take and take. I'll be honest with you, unless you also have something to give, I don't have anything left to give. You have to put back.
I'm in the same-
Relationships are not 50-50. Sometimes they are 40, 60, 80, 20. But what I cannot do again, Kat and Token, is let it be 100 and 0
Yeah.
ever again. I just not. That's why I've been single 14 years. I need someone to fill my cup when it's empty
Yeah.
and to put something back. I fill other people's cups, so I've got nothing left. And then I'm depressed. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to go to work. I feel worthless, unattractive. I feel stupid. And intellectually, I know I am none of those things. I have to remind myself, well, you made good grades in school. You graduated with honors. You have a college degree, 2 of them. You're working on another master's. You're going to law school. They wouldn't have let you in if you weren't smart.
Exactly.
These are things I shouldn't have to tell myself, but I have to give myself positive affirmations to rebuild myself so that I can once again be fearless, confident, and outspoken. Because I'm not fearless anymore. I'm very afraid. I'm raw. I'm
Yeah.
still confident and outspoken, but I am not as confident as I used to be. I'm not as outspoken as I used to be. And I appear when I navigate life unafraid. And it is a facade. I am scared every day. And the thing that scares me most is the next man that I choose will just be another abuser.
Yeah. Kat, what is something that confidence gave you that you never expected?
Mhm. I would say the hidden gem in all this is I feel that it has enabled me to try to help others to get there. So I probably didn't expect that in the journey, you know what I mean? Where I thought I was just such a hot mess myself. But I think that kind of, like I said, understanding that it is a journey, confidence is not something that you're just born with. You don't wake up and have it. That I feel that it's important for me to mentor other people. And again, I'm just talking about like the career stuff so much. And I think that was kind of a surprise for me because I never thought I would kind of get to that point or that realization that I could help others in that same way.
Okay. I like that. How has becoming more confident changed the way that you handle criticism? Vixen?
Um, I'm being honest with you. I was Teflon. I was bulletproof. I didn't care what you had to say. I knew my worth and I knew the ideas and plans that I had because I had thought it out in my head. I had proed and conned it on a piece of paper. I thought of every plan that I could think of, and this was the best one. And I wasn't concerned with whether a cat agreed or a token agreed. I knew, I had all the answers. You know, my dad calls me when he doesn't know something. He says, "Hey, Brainiac," and he's talking to me. We'll be sitting there with all of us. We're a family of 8, 6 children, mother, father. He'll say, "Hey, Brainiac," and I immediately know he's about to ask me something. I got all the answers. And now, when someone has something to say to me, even if it's a constructive criticism, it tears me down. I'm like, I lose all my sense of direction. I lose my sense of self-confidence. I second guess myself. I'll be honest with you, the only place where it doesn't make me internalize all my all the victimization I've had over the years is when people are trolling on this app, girl. When they talk crazy to me on this app, I talk crazy right back, girl. I love it.
Yeah.
I love this app because they can say anything they want. And I'm like, you'll talk crazy, I'm gonna talk crazy too. But in real life, it does so much damage. These trolls in real life are messing with me. The trolls on this app, I got it covered. I'm cool.
Fair. Fair. For both.
But I got ops, girl. You know, that's what the young people call it. I got ops.
Yes. For both of you, last question. What is one lesson that you had to learn the hard way that ultimately made you stronger? Kat, you first.
Again, I just think that everyone doesn't want to see you succeed. And that's something that you have to accept, that you're, living in a la la land if you think that whether it's, at work or it's on this app or it's anything, there are always going to be people who are going to challenge you in life and challenge your confidence. It's how you decide to react to that and, how you decide to let that affect you. um, because at the end of the day you can't give people power, and that's what you're doing when you allow them to kind of affect your confidence. So
Absolutely. Vixen, one lesson that you had to learn the hard way that ultimately made you stronger.
I would say a lesson I learned the hard way that ultimately made me stronger is that you cannot rely on people. You can rely on yourself, and you can only rely on yourself about 80% of the time.
Yes.
Because there are times when you cannot rely upon yourself. There are times when you do things out of character. There are times when your mind is playing tricks on you and you can't see the reality in front of you. You have to lean toward, I'm a Christian, so I lean toward God, but you have to know that there is something bigger than you out there. So, whatever that is for you, whether that is God or Manon or Buddha, whatever
I've even heard in
you,
AA people say believe in
Mhm.
anything, including like a doorknob. As long as it's something
Yeah.
other than yourself, just believe in it.
When you believe in nothing, you will fall for anything.
Yes.
You have to have a higher purpose, whether that is your sobriety, as you mentioned, your children, your future children, whether that is not your job. A job is a job, but your own career. Because any job, you can go find a new one. But your career, what you do as a person, you look forward to that. Because I could walk in my job tomorrow, they could terminate me. And what am I going to do? Cry about it? No, I'm about to get on Indeed and go find me something else. Because this is my life, my livelihood. It's not my job. You cannot rely on just your job. You have to rely on your own skill sets, the things that make you you, and the things you know that you can do well and move forward. If you lose your job, if the place closes down, are you no longer an IT professional? Are you no longer a journalist? Are you no longer a sales manager? No, you are still you.
Yeah.
Move on to the next thing. And that's another thing. I know you said one, but I'm still me. I'm still worthy. That was so hard for me. When I was on maternity leave with my child and I had a nervous breakdown and I was in the most severe depression I'd ever had, I was talking to a therapist and I told her, I said, I'm nothing. I said, my husband is trying to take away my children. He physically has them, he physically took them. He went to my job. He told them I'm not coming back. And they sent me a Dear John letter because of, you know, what is it, truancy, when they told me, hey, Garthia, we love you. Take as much time as you need. Your job will be here. And the next thing I know, I'm reading in the newspaper, they've hired another managing editor. I was the Black, first person of color at all, managing editor of my hometown paper. And the last thing my publisher said to me was in 2012, we love you. He put his arm around me, he said, we love you. Take as much time as you need.
Yeah.
And then he sent me a letter. My time was up. And I told her, I said, I'm not working in a newspaper anymore. He's taken my kids. I'm not cooking, cleaning, and nursing my baby every day anymore. What? I'm nothing. What? I'm nothing. And she looked at me, and the therapist, had tears in her eyes, and she said, "You are still you, and it's not your fault." And it took me 5 years to be able to, she made me repeat it, and I didn't believe it. It took me 5 years to say, it's not my fault, and believe it. It took me 5 years to say, hey, I am still an award-winning journalist. I am still the best in my field. I still made history. I am still in an African American cultural museum in my hometown where I had to call the police on my own husband for abuse. I am still all those great things. These things are just a tiny part of my story and a testimony for me to help someone else grow, learn, be better. Thank you.
I want to thank you both for being here. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do on the app, Kat. And then
Okay, sure. Hi. Um, I'm Kat's Roar, but you can certainly call me Kat. I just started hosting in the recent months a show called Middle Ground, which is a debate style show where we talk about topics. And ultimately, the idea is to talk, to listen, and find some middle ground. This week, the show has moved to Mondays at 8 o'clock. So excited to be hosting that. I also do a segment on Kitty Commander's featured show, Meow and Me, and that's on Mondays at 9 o'clock. I do a Pets in the News segment. And then, I'm hosting an auction in September. And, other than that, I just kind of stream randomly. Usually it's kind of between like Wednesday and Saturday, I would say. And just happy to be part of the Meet Me community and to meet people like all of you.
very cool. Vixen?
Oh my gosh, I love it here. I started off on POF, and as many of us know who've been around a while, they split. It took me a while to make the decision to duplicate my account because I wanted to be where I knew the platform, I knew the people. I was missing so many people, and I'm so glad I made that decision. Ever since I became a part of the Meet Me group, it has been wonderful. Admins reached out to me to do a feature show. So that's going to be Mondays at 10 a.m. It's called Vantage Point with Vixen 808. And it is also a debate style show. It's a man versus woman, battle of the sexes, battle of the minds, hot button topics. And we have two judges to decide who won that week's debate. If you want to be featured on the debate, you may reach out to me, reach out to Savage Weezy in the comments, reach out to Emoji J or Mrs. Emoji J or Dire Raven, and any of us will get you booked. Actually, we have openings for Monday for judges. Me and Savage Weezy are going to debate a hot topic. Can you turn a gay man or woman straight? That's the debate topic. If you would like to be a judge, we do have openings for judges. One judge who is male, one judge who is female. And then we shot our test shoot last week. It's really a fun time. And we're gonna have a great time. We have a great time every week. We always have a great time over at the Vixen Village. And no, I am not a video vixen. Get your dictionaries out and look up the two definitions of vixen, and neither one of them has anything to do with videos. And if the 808 is a throwback, for those of you who are my age or older, if you know, you know, 808, I got that 808 boom. And if you don't know, I mean, it's not for you. It's not an area code. It is the boom of an 808.
It's a good
And I can't
song.
help you. Google, I don't know what to tell you, baby. Google. If you're not a millennial or older, just, I don't know, Google it. I can't help you. We know what it means.
Well, I want to thank both Vixen and Cat's Roar for being willing to be vulnerable today and to share pieces of your journeys with us.
Thank you.
Confidence is not something that you wake up with one morning. It's something that you build over time and lose over time and build and lose and build and lose. It's choosing to speak when you're afraid or to try when you might fail. If today's conversation resonated with you, please reach out to me or Emoji J here or on Instagram, and we will get you on another show. We have plenty of topics. And if you have a topic that you want to talk about, please bring it to the show. But that is it for me, and I hope you guys had a great time.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us. It's emotional for me. And that's another thing because I have stunted emotions because of my upbringing. It's hard for me to outwardly express those and feel comfortable. But I'm trying to human better because people think I am like cold-blooded and devoid of emotions. I have them. I was just taught not to express them in front of humans outside of my household. I am trying, y'all. I'm trying.
It takes time to learn how to do that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, I appreciate the opportunity to be part of the show. And I think sometimes shows like this kind of show a more human side of us as streamers, because a lot of times, and not to say we put on a facade or, we might be like entertainers or we're hosts or, I think we're true to ourselves, but there is sort of a mask that we put on, if you will. So I think
There's a
sometimes,
performance aspect to streaming.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely,
nobody wants to see
absolutely.
you sad and depressed, so you kind of
Right, you
crank
have
up
to
the
be,
energy.
yes, yes. And sometimes, we have to fake it, right?
Yeah,
So I
there you
think
go.
this is a really good opportunity for people to just be more human. And I think both Vixen and I kind of definitely achieved that today. Yay,
Oh yeah.
congratulations on your 2 minute.
Yay, yay. Congrats, new milestone.
Thank you.
Go, go. Thank you, Kitty Commander. You go, girl.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right. I'll see you
Congrats.
guys all next week. I'm going to let the gifts play out, but I will be ending the stream once they're done.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it so
Thank you,
much.
yes. Mahal kita. That means I love you in Tagalog. Thank you for having us.
Okay. I am going to end the stream. I'll be back in a little bit. I'm going to do some stuff around the house. Give me about 10-15 minutes. Peace and latke grease.